Hey everybody, welcome to the Art Block. My name is Derek, and I'll be your host once again. Thank you so much for tuning into a new episode. Today, I'm going to talk to you about physical media. Now, there's been a lot of people saying how important physical media is for quite some time, especially in the streaming age. But I think there's a lot of things in recent years that make physical media so much more important and really essential. Of course, there's that feeling of actually owning something rather than just streaming it online, especially for something that you really love, like having a great complete series set, like I have right here. I've got True Blood, the complete series. Now, True Blood, if anybody asks me, is just my favorite show of all time. I absolutely love it from beginning to end. Um, and it's just important to have the things you really love, to have it physically, and not just be streaming. And of course, it's an HBO show, so it belongs on Max and Warner Media and that whole corporate, entity behind Max and HBO and everything. Of course, in recent years has been absolutely terrible and unpredictable and just very shaky in many ways. Um, so it's important to have those things that you already love. And of course, we talk about physical media. We talk about, steelbooks. And when you have a steelbook of a movie you really love, we've got the Pulp Fiction steelbook right here. And it's always a thing when a movie I really love, I think is really important and something I really want to own. Like when I had Babylon come out, I've got the Babylon steelbook right here, this is just such a great film. If you haven't seen it, please do. It's absolutely brilliant. But there's a steelbook that comes out of your one of your favorite movies or just a movie you really loved. It's important to, for me, it's so important to get that, to have it in your collection physically, yes, but just also the beautiful artwork there. That's it's a wonderful thing to have, and it's, again, I keep saying important, but it's just so important to have those movies, those pieces of art you love so much, to have it physically, and especially with the artwork, to have it kind of honored in a way, to have to something that gives it the kind of respect it deserves. And I don't think just a movie being on streaming with everything else that the parent company has made or owns in some way, that's just not enough. You need to have the physical media right there. And in terms of streaming, certain shows that are so popular, that are so iconic, are often, in the middle of these like bidding wars between these different corporations, like South Park, which got the Blu-ray right here, seasons 1 through 5. That show is so iconic, so popular. It was initially, years ago, when I actually started watching it really seriously from beginning to end, it was on Hulu. And then, of course, when HBO Max launched, it was on Max. And they even had those new specials, like the pandemic special. Those were exclusive to Max. And then Paramount won the bidding for that. So they had their own specials on Paramount exclusively. And within a year or so, I think Paramount's going to have the entire series exclusive to Paramount Plus. So it's just, for anyone who loves movies, who loves TV shows, who has that real just connection to the art, whatever it is. If you love those in any capacity, it is so important to have the physical version of that. And I've talked before on the show about how so many of these companies are straight up just deleting shows. Entire shows, entire movies, and there often is no other way to to see these. Sometimes they have them for purchase on like an iTunes or for Amazon. You know, you can buy them individually. But oftentimes it's not. It's just a product on a streaming service, and if nobody's watching it, they completely delete it. They erase the millions of dollars that were spent making that thing and the hard work of so many people. And I think, you know, even if it's for maybe a short movie you don't care about, just the idea, the principle of completely trashing something, I think that's, you know, reprehensible from any kind of artistic point of view. You know, and it's just such an impermanent thing, and I think anybody who loves art doesn't want art to be impermanent. You know, if you've ever been to like an art museum, that's something that is so important, is just to have a place where something can live on forever. You know, and regardless of whether something is popular or super well known, if there's DVDs of something, you can find it somewhere. Especially now with the internet, you can find just about any movie on like eBay or Amazon or any of these places, so that it can live on essentially, you know, forever. There's directors from several decades ago that I, you know, had never heard of, but their movies are still out there, and you can find copies of them that I'm discovering their work now. That's something I want for me as a director. That's something that I want, and that's something that I want for everybody, whether you're making films or you're just enjoying them and experiencing the work. That is just more important than anything kind of in art. If you make something under any circumstances, you want it to be seen, you want it to be appreciated, you know? And something I think people maybe don't think about as much is the fact that when it comes to streaming, everything is so complicated because shows and movies are made by so many different studios. No studios are owned by so many different parent companies, and that complicates things really more than anything. A good example is, I was thinking about the House of Cards show recently. And of course that was the biggest, the first big like Netflix show. And I absolutely loved it. I haven't watched the later seasons. I just got through the first 3, I believe. But it was a brilliant show, and right now I have in our house we have the Netflix like ad version, which I think is $7.99 a month. And House of Cards is not available to watch. You have to upgrade to like the $20 a month thing to watch kind of their flagship show, you know? And why it's not available is because House of Cards was not made by Netflix. It was actually made by Sony, and they licensed it as a Netflix show, but it's owned by a totally other company. And maybe that is why House of Cards got DVD and Blu-ray releases for the entire series. You know, you notice how Netflix things don't really get released on DVD all that much. If they do, it's like through the Criterion Collection, which Criterion does some wonderful work. Another example, I just have the Nora Criterion I just got. It is wonderful, great movie, and a phenomenal presentation. But Criterion always does fantastic work, you know. And something I really appreciate is they've been doing that for certain Netflix movies. Marriage Story, The Irishman, their Beasts of No Nation, I believe, got a Criterion release pretty recently. You know, they have been doing great work, and the fact that they are reaching out and getting Netflix movies onto a physical disc that you can have and watch forever, regardless of if you have a Netflix subscription or if Netflix decides to even keep the thing, you know. I think that's wonderful. I would love to see more of that. Blonde was a Netflix movie from a couple years ago that I thought was fantastic, and I would have loved to see Criterion swoop in, or really kind of any distributor. I would love to see that on this too. Netflix has a lot of very good things, but unfortunately, uh, they are just so not committed to physical releases or theatrical, because their entire business model is just getting you to subscribe and getting you to sit on the couch and watch Netflix for hours on end and just throwing new content at you constantly. That is the business model, and I think so much great filmmaking gets lost, because there are great films on Netflix, great TV shows like House of Cards and so many others. But um, that is the reality of Netflix. But what I want to talk about now is I want to plead to anybody who's watching this to support your local library. This is how you beat them. And by them, I mean the corporations, the movie studios that don't care. Okay? That don't care about the art, that don't care about preserving anything. Your local library is the source for everything you will need. Okay? When I was looking at House of Cards, wanting to watch this show, I had such great memories of, and I wanted to just dive back into it. You couldn't watch it without upgrading. And I found out that my local library system has House of Cards on DVD. And, there are some libraries out there where you have to pay a fee to get a library card. The one I'm at right now does not require a fee for that, so you can go in and get a library card and check out whatever. All the movies, books, video games, anything like that, you can check out. And there are so many things I've discovered just from the library for free. I mean, recently I kind of fell in love with The Apprentice, the movie from last year, and I think that film is so fantastic. It's incredible. Okay, I got a Blu-ray copy from the library. All right, I did not pay a dime for it, and I got to experience this movie. I didn't have to watch it on a streaming service, which it's not on a streaming service at all. I have to rent it digitally or anything like that. You just go to the library and you get a copy, and then you watch it, you enjoy it, and you return it so that somebody else can enjoy the same thing. I think that's wonderful, and I think libraries are not something I even really thought about in my adult life until a few years ago, and I'm always in the library now, finding books that are interesting, and always finding movies, or finding TV shows that they have there, and going to libraries as a source for film versus being on a streaming service, getting that physical copy and enjoying it. Another thing about physical media that's so wonderful, at least from the past anyway, is all of the bonus features. If you really love a movie, you want to just go deep on everything. I always love audio commentaries. I've learned so much about film from listening to those director commentaries, and they're not as prevalent as they used to. DVDs now just generally are so bare bones. There's so little that you get from there. Even the DVD menus that used to be elaborate and fun, now they're so basic. Even for a movie that's super big, like Barbie, the Barbie menu is so bland, and there's no effort put into it at all design wise. And that's, again, the fault of Warner Brothers. I will never stop hating on Warner Brothers. All of their films have that same bland blank menu. It's just the poster with that strip of buttons on it. That's it. I miss that golden age of DVDs where it was just packed full of features, and they were just so fun. Like I remember the Shrek 2 DVD just being full of like just fun stuff. I was recently watching the National Treasure DVDs, and even just the menus are so fun, so cool. The DVD itself looks all like glossy, and it just like looks exciting. The presentation is great. I remember the Hulk movie from 2003, which is a movie I love dearly, and I'll be talking about that movie forever. That you could put the DVD into an Xbox and play a level of the tie-in video game at that time. Like, that's amazing. That, like, just from a movie, you could watch the movie, you could hear a director's commentary, you could hear featurettes, and see a making of, and just some behind the scenes stuff about the effects and everything like that. You could play a video game on the DVD. Like, that's so cool. Nobody does that anymore except for like Criterion. Just the Criterion, bonus features are crazy. It's got multiple audio commentaries behind the scenes, and they all come with like these little booklets with like essays from film critics and stuff like that. That's so cool, but like that used to be a standard thing to get a DVD and expect there to be all sorts of cool behind the scenes things. And like I mentioned, like the Apprentice Blu-ray that I got, there's nothing on there at all. Not even the trailer for the movie or anything. It's nothing. It's got absolutely nothing. I miss that so much, and I think that studios are probably never going to value physical media the way they should, but I think that independent filmmakers need to, and me, just from my own like thought process, like the next time I make a movie, I want to go all out on the DVD. I want to load it with the special features. I want to put so much effort into the menu and the packaging and everything. I want to really care about that because physical media is of paramount importance. So the director I've mentioned on the channel before, Scott Monahan, who I've talked to a little bit here and there. He has a film called Anchorage that is fantastic. He's won many awards for, and his distributor has kind of like fallen through, with the film, and he's kind of got the rights back, in some ways at least, and he's done a VHS release of the film. And I collect VHS tapes. Like I think they're just so interesting. It's like the closest thing to film, because you're watching like a tape. It's wonderful. It's like it has this like nostalgic feeling to it, but it's also this like beautiful technology that has gone by the wayside. And there's been many films, I think, in recent years that have gone for a VHS release. I know the Terrifier movies have done that, and some other like in the horror realm have done like these special edition VHS tapes. But I just really think that the need of physical media cannot be overstated. It really can't. Because if we don't have physical media, we can't say that we will have any kind of life for film. It's so hard to get a film, in theaters even, and for even giant, tentpole big studio movies are, they're so hard to get a success in a theater, to get people to actually come out. Everybody is just watching things on streaming, and when you watch things on streaming, you have no guarantee that it's going to be there tomorrow. You can spend millions of dollars and countless hours of your life making this thing that a executive could just delete and get a tax write-off for, at any time. And I just think that, if you love movies at all, you got to have the physical media, because you just never know when it's going to disappear, especially you get reminded of that when there's a power outage, during a storm or something, or internet outage rather, and you have nothing to watch. You can't go on Hulu or any of those. So that's when the DVDs really come in handy. Especially for something that you really love and you can't go without watching. And yeah, if you take anything from this, anybody who's watching, go get a library card. Go get a library card and use it. Show the libraries that you want that service, they matter, and that they should stay open. Like I said, I never really thought about using libraries for movies and consuming art like that. I never really thought about it until a few years ago, and now that's what I use for everything. I think the libraries are just so important, and any sort of public funding for the arts, I think you need to be very thankful for it. Don't take it for granted, and use it to show that it's valued and it's necessary. So go get a library card and take advantage of that. And support your local library so that these movie studios and these giant corporate entities controlling the media we consume, shows them that they can't take everything away. If you have a physical copy of something out there, it can always exist. As long as there are copies in circulation, somebody has something somewhere, it can always be found and be appreciated. So if you have a movie you love, buy it physically. Don't rely on Netflix to keep it on there. Don't take it for granted, and don't even, if you have a copy on like a Vudu, which is now Fandango at home, or you have an iTunes copy or something, please just get a physical, because you are not actually buying that movie. You're buying a license to watch it, and sometimes those licenses can expire and suddenly you don't have that movie anymore that you paid for. Physical media. Buy the disc, have it in your home, and preserve it. Physical media is not just a preference, it's a film preservation issue. Preserve your art, love your art, and share your art. Keep art as public as possible. Just support it. That's all I have to say today. Again, thank you so much for watching. Anybody who's taken time to tune into the show, I deeply appreciate it. New episode every Monday night. Should be some new movie reviews coming soon. Subscribe, like, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys. What a time to be alive.